Hey, what's up guys, Auto Fanatics. So welcome my new AMG GTR to the Auto Fanatic channel. So if you guys watch my channel, when I was doing a lot of videos of the Shelby GT350R, I was talking about replacing that car for a while. And there was just a bunch of cars that I was looking at between like the final generation Dodge Viper. I was considering a new GT500 track pack and of course the AMG GTR, just because I'm a muscle car guy, but I also wanted something that's refined and handles incredible. And this car really suits all my personality traits 100%. And I've been looking for these cars for a couple of years. A lot of them, almost all of them, are very beat up. They didn't make a lot of these cars, Mercedes AMG. This is a very limited production model. The GTR is their track derivative, pretty much designed to compete with the Porsche GT3s. This car is freaking a monster. So the easiest way to sum this car up, it's a German Dodge Viper, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. You guys are going to come along. I'm going to show you some of the features and cool stuff about the car, and then we're going to get it up on the road and take you guys along for a little bit of a drive, and you guys are going to freaking bug out when you start hearing this thing going through the gears. It is absolutely incredible. So we're going to get that video started right now, and I'll show you some more details of the AMG GTR. All right, guys, we're back. So why do I call this a German Dodge Viper? Well, look at the proportions of the car. Really long front end, two-seater. The seats where you're sitting is pretty much right where the back wheel is. Double wishbone suspension, carbon fiber, aluminum, magnesium. So many different materials went into this car, and this is a track-driven car. Now, the thing about the Dodge Viper, you know, I do like that car, but there was a couple of things that turned me off from it, was getting in and out of it because it had a very wide sill. And I'm going to show you this one. This is probably the easiest supercar you could get in and out of because it doesn't have a very wide sill. And if you look at the sports seats, I could get in and out without dropping in. So it's very easy for me to get back in and out of this car. Actually, a lot easier than my Shelby and my BMW M3. So that was another reason why I wanted this car. The Viper is much wider. Even it's harder for me to get into a C8 Corvette with my back issues. So that was another reason why I chose this car, was how I could get in it, the comfort of the seats. A friend of mine had these seats in his E63 and another friend in a C63S, and they were outstanding for my body frame. They're probably not going to be good if you're very hefty and wide and over 220 pounds. This is probably not going to be a great seat for you. You're going to probably hate it. But other than that, when you look at where the seat is sitting, you're kind of like right here, and there's your wheel. So very similar to the Dodge Viper. There's a lot of things about this car that resembles the Dodge Viper, except much better build quality, and it's much more of a rare car. Now the Viper, the last gen Viper, they only made a couple of thousand. Same thing with these. So when you go in the market right now, if you want to look for an AMG GTR, they only built these from 2018 to 2020. 2020 wasn't a real production run because of what happened with the world and all the shortages. So in 2020, they very little production. They also took away a lot of the analog switches in the car. They put particular filters in the exhaust and made it quieter. So I didn't really want that. I wanted the 2018. Always the first year is the rawest and most aggressive, and also I feel the most special. I've been looking for a couple of years, and I thought that I really wanted a black one, a metallic black one with the carbon ceramics, and I wanted the yellow stitching on the interior. Well, I started looking at them, getting them inspected. They were all beat up. They were all stone chips all over the paint. They had bad Carfaxes. They were, you know, a lot of them were modified and beat to crap. So I was like, you know, how am I going to find this car? And being that you can't buy it anymore, they don't produce it, and it was just a matter of timing. And I believe timing is everything with all this stuff. So like, I'm very particular. Now, buying a new car is easy. You just order your new car, you pick it up, it's a new car. Buying a pre-owned car in this category is extremely hard for someone that's OCD when it comes to the physical condition, mechanical condition, and history of the car. And this one checked off all the boxes, and it was local. So I didn't have to ship the car. I didn't have to do anything crazy and get anything inspected. I inspected it myself, I test drove it myself, and we did a deal trading in the GT350R for the AMG GTR. So that's the deal. That's how I got this car, and that's how it made sense. I just can't keep all of these cars. So also, these are the gigantic carbon ceramic brakes. I'll talk more about that when I drive the car with you guys in a couple of moments. And another thing, this color is called Green Hell, named after the racetrack, the Nürburgring in Germany. So when this car was released, Lewis Hamilton, who's the Formula One driver for AMG Petronas, did a really cool commercial. If you go search it on YouTube, you'll see it. He's driving this exact car through the Nürburgring, and it's like a really cool thing. So they did it for marketing. So this is kind of like the launch edition, kind of like my BMW M3 with the Isle of Man green. It was the launch edition. So it's kind of cool that I have two German cars now, both in green, two different greens, and they're both in the launch edition colors. But when I saw this color in person, I was kind of like sold on it. I mean, it's really hard to see it on camera, but when you see the shimmer of the reflection and the gold and everything else, it's just absolutely over the top. And even though it's satin paint, it is over the top awesome. And there's going to be a lot of detailing content on the AutoFanatic channel. I'm going to show a lot of you guys out there how to care for this style paint, because you can't polish it, you can't do a lot of things to it, and there's very, very specific things that I'm learning and testing out to care for this paint so you don't have any issues of scratches, swirl marks, and all that stuff. So stay tuned to the channel if you guys are interested in that, because this matte finish is now very popular with BMW, Mercedes, Maserati, Porsche. All these car manufacturers are going into this frozen, type of paint. That's what BMW calls it, frozen. So it's going to be a good content to create for the channel on how to care for these unique paint finishes. But we'll go right here. You can see some of the design attributes of the car, and it really resembles the vintage Mercedes 300 gull wings as far as the race cars. So you have the Panamericana style grille. You also have the two bulges in the hood, which is reminiscent of the 300 gull wings. You also have like the long nose. You have the scoop vent on the side, which is very similar to the 300 gull wing. And just the proportions of the car, it's absolutely a modern version of the 300 gull wing race cars. Now, Mercedes came out with the SLS, which was their gull wing attempt at making a retro car. Very, very cool car, except that car had the M157 naturally aspirated V8. This has the 4-liter, what they call the, I believe it's called the 178 or 177. So this is a 4-liter bi-turbo V8 with the turbos in the V, and I'm going to show you guys that in a couple of minutes. But if you look at the car, it's freaking wild. It's wild, it's wide, it's short in the back, and it's long in the front, and it's got a really big set of balls. Let me just tell you that right now. It's got a really big presence on the road. Also, when I was looking for these cars, this particular wheel is the wheel that I wanted. If you go look online right now, all the AMG GTRs have a flat spoke wheel where the spokes go out to the edge, okay? You don't get this lip. So if you look carefully, this is the rear wheel. You see how it's got a nice deeper lip? And then we go to the front wheel, it has a shorter lip, okay? That's a unique wheel, and I only have seen these wheels on the Green Hell Magno edition, which is this particular car. I did not see them on many other models, so I think it might be an exclusive wheel that they're only doing with this satin paint. I don't really know, but that's what I wanted. Also, the copper brake calipers, if you guys are looking for one, that indicates carbon ceramic brakes. Now, if you go on the market right now, Carvana, Cars.com, Auto Trader, type in AMG GTR, okay? There's about 60 cars on the market right now. Out of the 60, a majority of them are convertibles. Quite a few of them are 2020s. Most of them have high mileage. High mileage for a car like this is 10,000 or more. A lot of them are modified. A lot of them have bad Carfaxes. A lot of them have stone chips, and they're just not in the cosmetic condition. So finding this car was extremely difficult for me. Now you could go do a search for a GT3 from 2018 to 2020, and there's about 500 of them to choose from, all in the same, boring colors of white, silver, and black. So this is kind of what I wanted. This fits my personality to a T, and I am extremely, extremely happy with it. So let me just show you guys the interior real quick. We'll go over some of the details. So you can see everything's in Alcantara. The Burmester upgraded. There's two Burmesters in this car. You get the base Burmester or the one that this car has. And the way you tell it's got the better one, you get the extra tweeter up here, and the stereo is freaking incredible. This is what I was talking about. So in 2020, they did away with all this. So we have analog knobs to switch your modes. You got your engine start. You got all your buttons over here, very, very analog, and this resembles a V8. So you can see there's 4 buttons, and they're all round, and it's just such a cool thing. This car also has a satin carbon fiber package, which is exactly what I wanted. We'll talk more about the yellow knob in the dash when we're driving it, but you can just see here, there's no cheap plastic. It's all done in proper leather. It's all stitched and tucked in. You got the matte carbon fiber down here. You got the carbon fiber doorstep plate. It's just a freaking awesome car. I mean, just look at the quality. And this is really what I wanted. The Shelby quality is garbage. I mean, the interior, the paint, the fit and finish. And I just was like, you know what? Why am I going to go spend money on another American car that's going to be the same price, have the same quality issues, when I could just buy something like this that's got superior build quality. It's rare. It suits my personality, looks freaking cool, and it's going to be fun as hell to shoot some content for you guys on the channel. So you can just see it right there. This thing is freaking wild. Also, this car has active aero underneath the bottom of the car. There's an active aero curtain that produces more downforce. The rear wing in the back also produces more downforce and is manually adjustable. I'll show you guys that right there. You can see right there, so you can play around with the angle of the wheels. Also, this car, when I bought it, it had a couple of tasteful things done to it. It had all the AMG badges blacked out already. Those are factory badges. They weren't just painted. Brand new set of tires came on the car. Everything else was done on the car. And the cosmetics, you can just see it here. It looks outstanding. There's probably going to be some bug splatter because I've been driving it all weekend. But the condition of the car checked off all the boxes. Let's show you the hood right now. Pop the hood. All right, guys, pop the long hood, and you can check out that is the power plant. Now, this is very deceiving. If you guys don't know, this is not where the engine is. This is just a cosmetic cover for all the coolant tanks and everything for the intake plumbing and all of that is here. The engine is right back there. You can kind of see the turbos right inside the V. So this is pretty cool how this car's set up. So let's just show you right here. So here are your front wheels. They're all the way over here. And look where the engine is. The engine is practically right here. It's partially underneath the dashboard. So they call this and consider this a mid-engine layout by design. So it's really, really cool how this car has such a short front overhang and rear overhang. You can see it. And all your length you got from here to here. But it's very deceiving when you look at the car. So this is the power plant of the beast. Also, to talk about this car is 100% hand built. This was not built in the production factory of Mercedes Benz where all the C classes and E classes go down the line. There's a specific factory. I'll post a link to that video that I found on YouTube that shows these cars being built by hand with no robots. I think the only robot they talked about was putting the adhesive and putting the windshield in the car. So everything was done by hand on these cars, and that's another thing that makes it really special. So when I had the car inspected, we took the wheels off, you could see all the nuts and bolts have Cosmoline hand brushed on every bolt head for corrosion. All the aluminum suspension. This car has coilovers that are height adjustable, so you could actually set this car up and corner balance it. I don't think I'm going to lower it. I think the car is good where it is. I don't want to rip the nose of this bumper off. This bumper is probably about $10,000 if you could even get one today. So I'm happy with the ride height, but this is pretty cool. So the 4-liter bi-turbo V8, they rated at 577 horsepower, but people have dynoed these and they're well over 600. It's mated to a carbon fiber drive shaft inside of a carbon fiber torque tube. So the way this car is constructed, there is a carbon fiber torque tube that connects the front to the back. Inside the torque tube is the carbon fiber drive shaft, and out back we have a 7-speed dual clutch transaxle. And what makes this even cooler, this car, it's the same transaxle that Ferrari uses on their 458s, F12s, a bunch of their models. It's the same gearbox. So if you look at like cars like the Corvette C8, that's a Tremec dual clutch, and now Maserati's using that same transmission in the MC20. A lot of people don't know that. So there's not a lot of manufacturers of dual clutches, so they decided to pick the best, and the best was this one, and that's the one that Ferrari uses. But when you look at this car, I mean, look how big that hood is. It's freaking wild, man. So I'm kind of getting ready to jump in the car and going for a ride. So this is going to be the fun part of the video. So let's strap the cameras in and have some fun. Hope the audio comes out good because this car, it sounds incredible. This car is a German muscle car, except it handles like a freaking 911. It is absolutely unbelievable. You can see hand-built engine. It's got the guy's name over there. We got, you know, aluminum triangulation with the chassis. It's all aluminum, carbon fiber, magnesium. A very, very sophisticated car. And the cool thing about this car right now, if you guys are interested, if you guys have a Shelby, you guys have a Dodge or a Viper, and you really want to get something at the next level, these cars have depreciated to the point where you have the option to either buy a Shelby, a used Dodge Viper, 2013 to 2017, or a Dodge Challenger Red-Eye Hellcat. Think about the money now. You want to go with an American car with American quality, inferior engineering, just for the big motor, or do you want to step up to a supercar performance level at an incredible value right now? Also, another reason I bought this car, because now's the time to buy it. If I waited a year to 2 years, I think it would just be priced out of the market. When these cars were new, they were selling between 50 to 75,000 over sticker because of how rare they were. I remember when this particular car was in the Mercedes Benz showroom in Greenwich, Connecticut, it was roped off and it said, we want 75,000 over, and somebody in the area bought it, and I ended up getting the car from him. So it's pretty cool that I didn't have to pay the upcharge tax like everybody's paying today, 100,000 over sticker for a GT3. I think it's crazy. You're gonna lose your money, especially the way the economy is so volatile right now. It's a bad decision. I don't care how much money you have to spend a high ADM over any car. So the fact that you could get this car comparable to some of these American cars that I was looking at, this just made the most sense. The dealer support, parts availability, the engineering, and the more that I learned about the car, the hand-built nature, the engineering that went into it with the Formula One race team, you know, helping design this car, that's when I said, this is the car for me. This is the one that I'm gonna buy. Hands down, my decision was made a long time ago. So let's strap the cameras in the car and we'll go for a drive right now. All right, guys, we're at the drive portion of the video. Something I want to talk about too, which is really cool about this car. We got everything analog buttons, nice gauges, proper gauges, no stupid goofy LCD screen like my M3. The M3 maybe getting replaced as well soon. So another cool thing with the dual clutch, it chugs and slips exactly like a Ferrari when you're in comfort mode or when you're in like first gear, which is really, really cool. Like it's doing it right there. So I'm just gonna leave it in comfort mode, automatic, automatic shifting, and then we're gonna see a little slippage right there. Also, something I didn't talk about in the beginning of the video, the car has active rear steer, which makes this thing handle unbelievable. So it's gonna be a little loud in here. So we have the exhaust kind of turned off. It has a full titanium exhaust system with 3 outlets out the back, rear diffuser. So look, we're in comfort mode, we're cruising. It's not a luxury car, but it's extremely stiff, very loud. You get a lot of tire noise, a lot of road noise, but it's actually comfortable. And that's what I was looking for in replacing the GT350R. It's funny, the rear suspension on dips, because it's so stiff, hops almost identical to a Dodge Viper, the last Dodge Vipers that I've driven. So it's pretty cool. So look, we're just cruising along. It's the blow-off valves. You know what? Forget about that. Let's go into... So you can hear this thing. It's freaking incredible. The pops, the bangs. AMG makes probably one of the best sounding V8s ever, especially the fact that it's bi-turbo. Put it in the manual mode. You hear that? This thing is a freaking riot, man. Oh my God, this thing is so much fun. Thing's got some set of balls on it, let me tell you. And I'm sitting in like the perfect position. I'm low, but I'm not too low that I can't get out of the car. You want to talk about passing power? Dude, this thing is absolutely incredible. My God. The sounds that it makes, the feedback you're getting, the front end is super tight and direct because you got a long hood, active rear steer. Oh my God. This car's a freaking riot, man. Woo! It's like pulling my brain back into the seat. Holy shit. This car is fucking incredible. This is what you can't do in a GT3. It doesn't have that torque and that V8. And that's why this car, for me, with my background and what I like, I don't think there's a better package on the market that you could buy. They're never gonna make these cars again. This is it. Oh my God. I really hope the audio gets picked up properly because it's loud in here. Enjoy the double clutch, it's fun. I don't have to worry about clutching in and out, and I don't know, it just works. This road is a little bumpy. So you can see this is like the worst road you're gonna get, right? And you can see the camera's still gonna be pretty stable. Oh man, those shifts are lightning fast. And I got a Golf that wants to race me. A VW Golf. Yeah, good luck on that one. The carbon ceramic brakes, now that I own a car with them, I don't think I would ever buy another performance car without them. That's a big regret on the M3, because I drove my buddies with carbon ceramics. Dave, his car stops incredible. And if I could do it all over again, if I knew that, I wouldn't have taken the M3 when I did. I would have probably waited for a car with carbon ceramics. That dip always gets me. I mean, the torque, the pull, when we're going uphill. I remember that, so the day that I test drove this car, the salesman was like freaking out. He's like, oh, took me on some back roads in Connecticut. And, you know, it was a low speed limit and I'm doing these roads at 90 miles an hour. And he says to me, he goes, have you driven this car before? I said, no, this is the very first time I've ever driven one and gotten in one. And he was so impressed on how I was able to drive through those roads with confidence in a car that I never drove before. And I think that's the cool thing about this car, is that it's got enough confidence that you can enjoy. And that was one thing about the GT350 Shelbys. They have a lot of confidence. You know, you got to do something really stupid to go out of control with those cars. This car has a lot more power, and you got to be careful. But dude, when you let off the gas and it just pops. So going back to the day that I test drove this, you guys are gonna laugh. So this thing is freaking nuts. This thing is so freaking wild, man. Oh my God. I'm just gonna take it up this road real quick. So I drove that same road that I went on with the M3 after I drove it with this, and I drove it like balls out. And I'd be honest with you, with the M3, it felt like a piece of junk. That's how inferior that car felt compared to this car. That's how much better this car is. So. Oh my God. This thing is fucking incredible. Oh, watch out for the pedestrian. Whew! Oh my God. Oh my God, this thing is freaking wild. Oh my God, this car. Man, this car is incredible. Another thing too, the power delivery. It's so accessible on back roads, and that's another thing that I wanted. So on Sunday, I went over to we went up north. It's like a kind of like a cars and coffee hangout. And there was like 10 GT3 Porsches and GT4s and all that. And I roll in with this and everyone's like, whoa, because you don't see these cars. It's so rare. Oh my God. To get this power, to get this sound with the chassis, and then you got the looks of the car that are drop dead gorgeous. One of the best packages ever created. Oh my God, I hope that the content that I create on the AMG GTR is gonna make some of you guys, or people that never watch the channel, go out, drive one, and put one of these cars in your garage. And I'm gonna tell you that right now. This car checks off a lot of boxes if you're a performance-oriented individual. You know, and if this fits your personality, you like muscle cars, you like Vipers, but you want something with just better engineering and a little bit more tech, this is it, man. This is it. So, this first video on the AMG GTR. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned for more content. There's gonna be much more content on the AMG GTR as ownership goes forward, and absolutely incredible. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.